Welcome to Ground Control. For those of you that don't know, I posted a poll on Facebook 20 days ago because I was on the fence. I wanted to do another brushless conversion this year. I knew I would probably have time to do one. I didn't know if I would have time to do two. So my best two candidates right now after completing the brushless conversion of the Eachine Mini P51D Mustang is the Eachine Mini Cessna and the Volantex Sport Cup 500. So I was kind of on the fence. I would like to convert both of them, but I'm probably only going to have time to convert one. So I was kind of on the fence about it, so I decided to let my followers on Facebook, my subscribers, decide which one of these planes was going to be the next brushless conversion. And so the poll has ended. You guys have decided which one is going to be the next brushless conversion. And so today I am happy to announce that the Eachine Mini Cessna will be the next plane for the brushless conversion. Am I hearing some protest about now? No, that's not correct. The Volantex Sport Cup 500 won hands down as people's choice for the next brushless conversion. I'm just messing with you. Gotta have a little fun. So the Sport Cup 500 will be the next brushless conversion. And let me bring the P51 Mustang up here because this worked out so well with the 1S power system, brushless power system. I'm going to use the exact same electronics on the Sport Cup 500 that I used on the P51 Mustang. Same motor, same prop, receiver, servos, etc. ESC, LiPo, and the performance increase on the P51 Mustang really surprised me. Looking at the numbers on the bench, the thrust numbers on the bench from the Racer Star BR 1206, 6,000 kV motor with this HQ T-mount 5x3 prop. And looking at the all-up weight on the plane, it was only going to give me a 1.1 to 1 thrust-to-weight ratio. Well, I'm normally shooting for a 1.5 to 1 thrust-to-weight ratio on any of my power systems, but I just felt that a 2S power system, a 2S LiPo on this plane would make it too heavy, and I didn't think it would perform as well as it should. So I stuck with the 1S power system, and I'm glad I did because it turned out awesome. Now the thrust-to-weight ratio on this one, using the exact same electronics, assuming that I can keep the weight down to the sand, I should be able to keep with all the same electronics. I should be able to keep the conversion weight down for the Sport Cup 500 as much as I did the P51 Mustang. So that means this plane is a lighter weight than the P51 Mustang. So the thrust-to-weight ratio on this plane with the exact same power system should give me a 1.3 to 1 thrust-to-weight ratio as opposed to a 1.1 to 1 thrust-to-weight ratio. So I would look for the performance on this plane with a 1S brushless power system to be a little more significant than it was on the P51 Mustang. Just because I think that the thrust-to-weight ratio is going to be better than that much better than the stock system on this plane. So should be able to do some really good aerobatics with the Sport Cup 500, and you've seen that you can do really good aerobatics with the P51 Mustang. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do another build log, conversion log on the Sport Cup 500 the way I did for the P51 Mustang. That's really time-consuming stuff because I'm using the exact same electronics. The conversion is going to be exactly the same for this plane. It's just that the disassembly is going to be slightly different. The P51 Mustang, I had to remove the bottom wing, to get to the electronics, and with the Sport Cup 500, I'm going to have to remove the top wing. Now, given the fact that the battery bay is on the bottom and all you have up here on top is the wing and the linkage for the aileron servo. And what I plan on doing is, I mean, this should be easier. This should be an easier disassembly than the P-51 Mustang. So when I'm finished with it, I'll try and do a short show and tell video of exactly what I did. You know, if I run into any problems with this, I'll do a short show and tell video like I did with the P-51 Mustang. But if you just look at the conversion log for the P-51 Mustang, you should not have any problems doing the conversion on this plane. The difference that on this plane, because the HQ T-mount 5x3 props are for quadcopters, so you get two pair, and you get two clockwise and two counterclockwise rotating props. So on the P-51 Mustang, I have right angle in the motor because I have a counterclockwise rotating prop. So I think what I'm going to do on the Sport Cup 500 is use the clockwise rotating prop and put a little bit of left angle in the motor instead of right angle, and then I'll have a spare prop for this plane and a spare prop for this one, and I won't have to worry about adjusting the left or right angle on the motor in order to use both pairs of those props. And so, yeah, piece of cake, right? The other thing that I'm going to do, and I haven't decided what material I'm going to use yet, I was never really happy with the roll rate of the Sport Cup 500. You know, it's a trainer plane, so I can understand why they didn't put so much throw so much control surface into the ailerons for a beginner plane. But I like having a nice roll rate, even on my bush planes. So I haven't decided what material I'm going to use yet, but what I'm going to do when I'm in the process of doing the conversion on this plane is I'm going to extend the aileron. See where it ends right here? And you've got quite a bit of area before you get to the wingtip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the foam material that they have for the current aileron, and I'm going to use either balsa wood or I'm going to use some Adams foam to fabricate the new aileron, and just put a piece of carbon in there to stiffen it up. I think that the foam material with a carbon reinforcement will probably actually be a little bit more durable than the balsa wood, so that's what I'm thinking of doing. Or the third option would be just to cut this section loose down here toward the wingtip and then glue it to the end of the aileron. That'll give you the gap you need right here, and then just put in a tape hinge right there, or a foam hinge. You can use foam cure to also create a foam hinge too, so that might be an option too. Just use the existing material and just cut it loose, move it over and glue it into the existing aileron, and then just create a tape hinge or a glue hinge on it. The other thing that I think that I'm going to do, and I haven't made up my mind on this yet, and I'm not going to take a poll on it, but I think what I will do, since I've got to take the main wing loose anyway, and the struts are glued onto the wing and onto the fuselage, I think what I might do with this wing, because it just has just a tiny bit of dihedral in it, so I think what I might do, instead of using the struts, I think I may go ahead and do away with the struts, and then just put like a 1 millimeter piece of carbon, maybe a 2 millimeter piece of carbon wing spar on each side, from the center out to stiffen up the main wing, and then I won't need those struts anymore, those little plastic struts. And my guess is the carbon spars will probably be just about as lightweight as the plastic struts are. So, and that might be a better way to go, because you know, once you get the wing off, I'm going to make the wing clip like I did with the P-51 Mustang. So I'm going to have some type of clip in front and then a screw in back to affix the main wing, and not having the struts glued onto the wing, or trying to figure out some kind of fastener to take the struts back off. It will make it a lot easier to remove this wing again if you ever need to remove it, to get to the receiver or the servos or the linkages or whatever, without having struts attached to it. So that just makes it a little more cumbersome. you know, to take the wing back off. What I might actually do with the main wing, because I have some really small, lightweight plastic hinges, is I may go ahead and put a hinge on the front of the wing, and then just a screw on the back as a keeper, and then I can take the screw out and the wing will just flip up. That might be the best way of doing it. I'll do it one of the two ways, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going to lose the struts and put in carbon spars in the wing and do away with the struts, so I can take that wing off a lot easier. So I don't know how soon I'm going to be able to get to this. I'm going to try to get it completed over the next couple of months. It's not going to be something that's going to be real quick. I still have some airframes that I need to work on existing planes. I still have planes that are in the pipeline that are coming for review. I'm in the process of completing a review on a plane right now. So as soon as I can set aside time, I'm going to try to set aside a weekend in the next couple of months and try to get this done on a weekend and get it ready for its maiden flight. So stay tuned. Thank you guys for participating in the poll. I really appreciate your feedback. Congratulations to those who chose the Sport Cub 500. You've made the decision for me. So stay tuned, and I will see you in the air.